Most people abandon their new goals within weeks. The failure rarely comes from a lack of motivation or effort. The problem is that focusing purely on an end goal doesn't give you a daily method to actually get there. Systems do. James Clear calls this the 1% rule. If you improve by exactly 1% every day, those tiny adjustments compound. Over time, that slight mathematical edge turns into significant success. By the end of this video, you are going to build a tangible, personalized 4-step action plan based on that exact psychology. To do this, you need to grab a physical pen and a piece of paper. Right now, pick one specific isolated habit you want to cultivate. For example, practicing the guitar. We are going to ignore the distant outcome of becoming a master musician. By managing tiny daily increments through a system, you ensure that the compounding effect of the 1% rule has the space to actually happen. Before we map out the physical actions, we have to establish who is taking them. Lasting behavioral change must originate at the level of your personal identity. At the very top of your paper, write down the words "I am a," leaving a blank space at the end. People usually start with a goal-based statement, like, "I want to learn guitar." That phrasing implies you aren't a player yet. We need an identity-based statement, like, "I am a musician." Fill in that blank space on your paper right now. Write down the identity of the person who naturally performs the habit you picked. When you align a new habit with your self-identity, you circumvent psychological resistance. You are no longer forcing yourself to complete an external chore. You are simply acting like the person you already believe you are. This diagram shows the habit loop. Habits begin with the cue, your trigger, and the craving, your desire. To master the cue, make it obvious. A guitar hidden in a closet relies on memory. Placed front and center, physical proximity triggers the habit. Write down the exact, highly visible location in your home for your habit object. Next is the craving. Law number 2, make it attractive. You do this by pairing the new habit with a daily activity you already enjoy. On your paper, write down a specific, enjoyable activity, like drinking your morning coffee, that you will link directly to seeing that visual trigger. By manipulating your physical space and anchoring the new behavior to something pleasant, you lower the threshold for getting started, making the habit feel less like a test of willpower. The most common failure point for new habits is friction. People introduce ambitious milestones that require significant energy to execute every day. This chart highlights law number 3, make it easy. Instead of struggling with a 1-hour goal, apply the 2-minute rule. Shrink the scale down until the habit takes 2 minutes or less to complete. Do not skip this limitation. Heavy sessions introduce early exhaustion. Instead, write down the strictly 2-minute version of your habit, like practicing a single chord. Finally, law 4, make it satisfying. Your habit loop must close immediately with positive reinforcement. Write down the quick, accessible reward you will give yourself the exact second your 2-minute habit is completed. Executing this hyper-compressed 4-step loop prioritizes the act of showing up. Each repetition reinforces the sequence until the behavior begins to feel less like a choice and more like a default response. Look at your finished piece of paper. What began as a vague desire is now a concrete, actionable system. You have a physical location, a paired activity, a 2-minute constraint, and a reward. Here is your challenge. The moment this video concludes, go execute your specific 2-minute habit immediately. You can also use this exact framework to break your negative routines by deliberately reversing the 4 laws. To dismantle a bad habit like phone overuse, you make the trigger invisible by keeping the device out of sight. Make it unattractive, make it difficult, turn it off, and make the process unsatisfying. Flip your paper over right now and draft a reverse habit plan for your most disruptive daily distraction. Long-term discipline is not a measure of moral fortitude. It is simply the byproduct of an engineered physical and psychological system.